Yes, I will create some space for you all to come into the room shortly. But I have a full-on presentation for you today about your signature story. I've got a really simplified way to think about your story, tell your story. And what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be doing a monthly challenge every month. A monthly challenge. It's going to be easy. Sometimes I hear challenge and I go like, oh no, I don't, please don't make it hard. It's going to be work, but work towards what you're here to do and what you're here to create. So here in the Story and Stage Society, every month I have a theme, and maybe I'll share my I have a document that I'm working on. It's still being perfected. Is it a download? No, it's a screenshot. Hold, please. Still being perfected. Please don't look at this and judge this at all. I'm wondering if I can still share. Gosh, just to give you an idea of what's coming up. And the way we're going to structure this. And today is a part of this. So each month we will take on a topic around the theme around what we're here to do, which is story and stage and visibility and building your business. And what I don't think I ever told you we were up to here is preparing your story, preparing it for stage and visibility, but also helping you to get really clear on products, on products and services and ways that you can serve the world. So it's really a business incubator as well as story, as well as, perfecting your stage and your visibility. They all go hand in hand. And so in that realm, each month we're going to take this on powerfully so that you're building your business, building your brand, building your message, your voice, your mission, your everything, all towards this really helping you to illuminate this light for other. Like the light lives in you already, the gift lives in you already, the message that you want to bring forth, the thing that you want to do in the world is already living inside of you. And this whole process is going to be about bringing it forth so you can illuminate it for others even more than you already do. And I've gotten to know some of you all, and you already do. And so this is to uplift it and bring it forth in the world even more. And so I've outlined here what's going to happen in the next few months. Today, we're going to take on story clarity and signature message. The next month, I'm going to get us straight into having conversations about building products because I want to get you profitable. Like, I don't want you spending time in here. We're building the message and talking about the message and building the story. And yes, we're going to do all of that, but I want to get you really dialed in on what products you can be offering so that we can get you monetized as quickly as possible. And so that you can have the resources you need to build your business even bigger, right? Without those resources and without you, I believe there really is something to be said about starting that process early. And some of you already have, but building it even stronger early on. And then you iterate as you go along, right? So we're sort of building the plane as we fly it, which is not a great reference given what's going on in the world right now with the flight. We're going to build a really strong plane that is navigated well with teamwork. Okay, don't get me started. So month 2 will be the product. I'm calling it the Product Power Challenge. And then month 3 will go more into magnetic messaging. We're going to talk about some of that today. And then we're going to move into bold visibility, bold on stage, getting booked, just all of these pieces that will really help build. And excuse me, the way I'm going to do this is around the first of the month, or like the end of the month before, like we're doing today, I will deliver a workshop. And then each week there will be challenges that I put inside the school group for you to activate and illuminate and get you really thinking more about the workshop that we had already and where you are. There'll be practice, and I'm going to ask you to do videos, and there'll be prompts for you. So it's just a way to support you throughout the whole month around this particular topic, as I also prepare for us to, for me to have our high teas and you come and ask me questions and and celebrate what you're already doing. So I hope that makes sense. I'm so sort of creating a container around these themes, give you the content, give you the resources that you will need around those themes, and also still have those high teas where we can meet in space and talk and celebrate and all the things. And so I just wanted you to know that that's a little bit of structure that's coming into this space I'm excited about. So that being said, of course, I have a presentation for you, but let me just check in and see how's everybody doing. Does anybody want to share any good news? Does anybody have any celebrations around their business, around their story, around, you know, what you've been working on? Just like, you know, real brief before I jump into this experience. So Sherry, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hey, Sherry.
Hello, good afternoon, Queens. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna be real quick. I gotta get back into work. Yes, I did start my YouTube channel. I followed the instructions that Jay told me to do. And I've been excited about doing it and uploading. So I'm gonna be uploading every Monday, one video a week. So I am excited about that. And I have been coming up with different things to do, like workshops with the story that I created. And also using AI has been great, and I have different ideas as far as seminars, presentations, and workshops. So yes, so I'm gonna have to watch the replay because I got to get back into work. I love you guys. You guys have a blessed and prosperous day. Bye.
Thank you for checking in and watch the replay. Thank you. As you all know, the replays are always available for you. And please do come back and check in, you know, check it out. Excuse me, does anybody else have anything? I see in the chat, Sandra says, let me move things out the way. Preparing for my first Alzheimer's dementia conference next month. Great. Let me know how I can support you in that realm. Wonderful. Wonderful. Good news, Sandra. And my mermaid's here. Hey, mermaid.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, got a little thing.
Um, yes, there's a lot going on, but I want to share the good. Thank you for prompting some, like asking some good stuff, some good stuff. Um, I've been working on a logo for the website, and I was using AI and also my, my artistry. So that came in this week, past couple weeks.
Mhm.
Um, and I've been utilizing that to post on Instagram stories to say like, "Hey, come my way," kind of like tease, 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 tease. And then we were trying to transfer everything over to YouTube soon.
Okay.
So this past week I've been posting every day and having a card pull for the Oracle and like kind of like a lead up, like here's your tease. And
Do
now that
that.
I have all those videos inside my pocket, I can redo them. Just boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 redo. And hopefully get everybody transferred over to YouTube and get off that Instagram, Facebook. But I'll still be there. I'll still be there. I'm not going to stop it. But
Good.
that's the good news.
Good news.
That's the good news.
We like some good news. The boop, 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 get it out there. That's
Boop,
good.
boop, boop. A lot of ahas and okay, oh snaps. I was like, oh, I want to talk to her. I got to tell her all this stuff.
We'll get there. We will get there. I'll
So I'm
create the
glad.
space for
Thank
that to
you. I'm
happen
glad
too.
to be here today.
Glad to have you. Excellent. Um, Yeah, by the way, as a reminder, you know, EJ does these Tuesday Tech Tuesdays. I don't know if the time has been permanently changed or not, EJ, but you know, pop into those and he's a master at AI, and we may even do some AI training. I know during the product month, next month, we're gonna play with some AI. Like we're just gonna let it help us out. And I'm really loving, you know, marrying my wisdom and creativity and ideas with the speed at which AI can work. And it'll be a really good idea to lean into it. And we're going to help you do that here too. Also 9 a.m. every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. PST, EJ is there, and open, you know, open tech talk, but you can go in there and ask him questions because of his beautiful generosity. Thank you, EJ. We got some other things planned for y'all. Maddie raised her hand. Come on through, Maddie. What you got? Oh, what do I do? Oh, there you go.
All right, okay. Hey boo, how you doing? How you doing? Real quick, Dr. EJ, I do apologize. I haven't been to your talks, but I am coming very soon. I had some schedule conflicts the last 2 weeks, but I will be there hopefully this week. I would say my good news this week is I start filming my first 4 episodes of my podcast tomorrow. So I will be in studio. I'm a little excited about it, a little nervous because I haven't been in front of the camera in a while, but I'm excited. I'm excited.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
just working on the book. Thank you so much. Because I want to say how you taught the outline and how to outline each chapter. And so you don't get, took me back to the very beginning. I done rewrote, done re-scrapped, rewrote, and I'm just so into it now. And so I thank you for that. It's like you revived it. And I'm so grateful for that. So
Oh, I'm grateful to hear this. I love the good news. And that's the thing about writing. So often, so much of it is rewriting, but rewriting with excitement. I'm excited for you and I'm excited for the world when the book comes out on the YouTube, and good for you getting in the studio. I'm excited for you.
thank you.
Well
Thank you.
done. Well done, Matty.
Ah.
All right, good. Oh, y'all are giving me energy because, like I said, I'm on set working with these incredible kids. It's called, by the way, the name of the show is called Vampirina, Vampirina Teenage Vampire. The show is hysterical. The kids are wonderful. Oh, her eyes glow purple and her fangs pop out, and her parents have flown in from Transylvania. And there's a Van Helsing kid on the show that, is like a slain, a sworn vampire slayer, but they're kids and they're friends. And so it's just really the cutest Disney show. And I'll let you all know when that's going to start airing. And as I may have told you all, I play the dean of the school. And so I get to play the mama bear to these beautiful kids. It's a beautiful multi-culti bunch of just yumminess. And so I get to go to work every day and have joy, which is delicious, delicious. So I'm a little tired, but y'all have just revived me. So let's go. Boop, boop, boop. Is that the sound effect, Mermaid Crystal? Okay, to answer the question, and EJ did put this in the chat, yes, all of the recordings are always going to be in that school recording, in that school space. Oh, and I don't want to forget to remind everyone and remind myself that if you are enjoying this experience, you can become an affiliate and earn like 40% commission on 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 the Story and Stage Society. We love to encourage people who are already in our world to invite people who are in their world into the world with us. And so if you know someone who wants some help with dialing in their story, moving in it, and not only the story piece, not only the stage piece, not only the business piece, but being in action. The good news I'm hearing you all say, the overarching thing I'm hearing about the good news, that you're all in action somehow on your business and your brand. And so that's what we're here for. So I'm excited. I mean, when I say I'm here for it, and we're here for it. Okay. All that being said, of course, I have a little slideshow that I was up late last night working on for you. So let me pull it together. We're going to talk about your story, your superpower. Your story is your superpower. I will, hold on, I just need to blow my nose. Would you all hold on for just a moment? I hope you all understand that we're family and I have no secrets. And the secret is my sinuses are doing a thing. Okay, let's start again. Welcome to this month's challenge. I'm calling it Your Superpower for the Story and Stage Society. It's a monthly challenge. Every month, we're going to take on a brand new topic, all in the service of your story, getting you on more stages and getting your message out into the world. More and more and more. And this theme this month is your story clarity and signature message. Yes, this will be recorded and left inside the group for you, and you can put comments and I'll be there to check you out. And like I said, every week we're going to activate this. I'm going to have exercises for you to do every week. It's a challenge, but it's actually going to be easy for you because you're ready to get your message out to the world, and we have the resources for you. So your story, your superpower. So I always like to go back to the foundation of why your story matters. So in general, as humans, we love story. I really think that it's baked into our DNA. It's how our ancestors taught everything they needed to teach to their people, so that could be left to the next level, next people, and the next generation, and the next generation. Before we had the written word, we had the spoken word. Before we had the written word, we had the spoken word that would teach and inform and share and entertain. And no matter what culture you're from, the human culture is really heavily rooted and heavily, I would say story is heavily rooted and woven into who we are. And when we take story and now use it in our business and in our brand in order to share our message and our mission, it's, I think, the number one way to build your trust and your connection. Excuse me, there are products and services that you use to this day because you liked the story behind the company, or the stories that they created to advertise, to say, come buy my such and such. And that will be the same for you. You will share your story, and that will be how people know that they can resonate with you, that they do resonate with you, and that they want to take a look on your website, or take a look at some more of your Instagrams, or take a look at some more of your YouTubes, learn from you, engage with you, and eventually buy with you, because we're in business, right? We're in the business of making the money that creates more resources for us in our life. There we go. Forgive me, everybody. One sip. Hold, please. Hold, please. Okay. Story builds trust and connection. Like I said, people hear your story and they feel connected to you, or it works the other way too. There's some people whose stories I hear and I don't connect at all. And I do go like, those are not my people. And the good news about that in business is it gets those people out of the way, so the people who would connect to you can come on through. There's some coaches I was thinking of working with, and I hear their story, I see how they work, I see what their vibe is, and I go, that those are not my people. So it's good news. I don't have to spend my money there. I can go, they can get me out of the way, so the people who would shop with them, buy their goods and products and services, could indeed come and work with them. And so it actually works in a beautiful way for you to be authentically you, be visible, say what you got to say, put out what you want to put out in the world, so that people find you, resonate with you, and come and work with you. Your story also anchors your message and magnetizes your brand. When people get to know who you are, it really solidifies your brand and who you are and what you stand for and why you do what you do, and magnetizes people to come and want to work with you, and like, oh, I need some of that. Where do I find that? Right? And when you're sharing your story with clarity, it becomes your business card. And we're going to do a little bit of that before the session is over. We're going to create, what's commonly called an elevator pitch, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't give you a new way to do the elevator pitch. And you all know, you've heard of that before. That's when you say who you are and what you do in, like, within 30 seconds, and the time it would take to get and take a ride on an elevator. But I've got a new way to do that with you. So let's start with a little bit of a reflection prompt. What has your story helped you to overcome or achieve? And those of you know me, and I say this all the time, I think stories can fall into two main categories. There's the yummy story and there's the yucky story. And you get to choose which stories you tell and how you tell them. And some of what we're going to be doing here is how to tell those yucky stories in a way that still resonate with an audience, that still are attracting. You're like, haven't you heard people tell their stories? You go like, this is an awful story. I can't even, I can empathize and I can sympathize, but I just want to leave the room right now because you're taking me down. I think as a business owner, I think that is the death of, that can be the death of your business. You don't want to tell the stories that make an audience pity you. You want to tell the stories that, even if it's a yucky story, it's a story of how you overcame what you were going through to rise and become who you are. Or tell the story of how you began to figure it out. And even if you're still figuring it out, people will come on that journey with you because, like I said, this is about resonance. So if you want to put in the chat, I'm going to try not to look at all the chats right now. I will come back and look at it in a bit. But what has your story helped you to overcome or achieve? And you have several stories, right? So some common themes would be stories of overcoming and becoming. I think that we're always overcoming and becoming, right? Stories of belonging. I know that's one that's really big for me. Stories of permission. Do I have permission to be ... fill in the blank? Do I have permission to be kooky or weird, or do I have permission to not know the answers right now? Whatever that is. So has your story, or what have your stories helped you to overcome or achieve? Who have you become along the way? Who are you becoming along the way? You can just jot it down or share it in the chat. So I think when we witness each other, it's really powerful. And like I said, one of the clues, or one of the, I would say like a cheat code. One of the cheat codes is to look at life themes: permission, belonging, grieving, loss, celebration, friendship, love. You know, what are some of those major life themes that show up in your story or your stories over and over and over again? That's a really great place to start. And I will give you some more prompts as we go along in this month's challenge and as we go along in this process, because let's get you thinking. In fact, let me stop the share for a second. I think I have a few prompts I want to share. Oh, boom. I knew I created. So here's a few questions that may help you. Let's just help you out right now. It's like, Kim, I need some help right now. Here we go. Here's some prompts for you. The biggest lesson that my story teaches is, what do you want your audience to believe after hearing your story? Ooh, that's a good one. When you're sharing with others, what do you want the audience, or as I like to call the soulmate client, or the audience in general, what do you now want them to believe in after hearing your story? You tap into that one, that's a gold. But by the way, whether or not they end up believing it in the end. So let's say my story, I'll tell a story and I believe that everyone should be tall. Like, well, you know what Kim calls, not everybody's going to be tall. I'm glad that you want me to believe that. But I'm told you this story of how being tall has changed my world, made me a better person, and how everybody else in the whole wide world, like being tall is actually a really good thing. I may have some petite people going like, you know what? She makes me think that being tall would be very nice. I'm still going to go ahead and love my petite self. But thank you for sharing that with you. And that's, that's a silly example, but you could go deep with that. What do you want your audience to believe after hearing your story? And when I say believe, I don't necessarily mean believe about you. I mean, believe about life, bigger themes. So if I tell you a story of finding love in my 50s, after having 2 failed marriages, after having, lots of boyfriends and lots of things, some were very nice and some were not. And if I tell you the story of meeting an amazing spirit who is kind and funny and handsome and smart and all the things that I wanted, I didn't even know I could have, you will believe that love can happen. And the other piece would be that love can happen at any age. And the next piece would be, you can be any size and still find love. Like, I could help you to believe that you don't have to be reed thin, have yourself all the way together. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to walk away and go like, oh, wow, I believe that love is possible. So it could be about you or about a concept. What life experience has shaped who you are today? And we're going to talk about sharing something that sparked a breakthrough for you. There's so much gold in there. So those quotes are there for you. I mean, those prompts are there for you. I'll just take a look. Very good. Okay. So let me go back to my presentation. Oh, please. Okay, and by all means, put things in the chat. I will come back and check up on you. So that's a reflection. So let's talk about this Shift, Spark, Shine framework. So this is I like to teach frameworks around sharing story. And some of you have heard about my six C's, challenge, choice, consequence, conclusion, call to action. And we're going to dive back into all of those. But I thought there's also a really sort of simple framework that if you plug and play this, or if you use this framework to even think about your stories, we can go back later and shape them. Sometimes people start a story with the shocking part of the story in the beginning, right? You see movies that start with the shock and end up with the heart, or end with a shock, or we can shape it to be however we want it to be. But if you think about these three elements in your story, think about this framework, you will be able to at least pull the story out for yourself as you prepare it to be told and shared. By the way, on all the platforms. This is just about getting the story out, and then we can decide whether we want it to be a YouTube, or we want it to be a post on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, or a blog post, or whatever it is you want it to do. But let's start with this. So you, excuse me, you think of the shift first, which is the before moment, the moment before the moment, the challenge, the struggle, the like, okay, this is what it is moment, right? Just what was the shift? I also sometimes talk about the transformational snapshot. We call it the TSS, right, EJ? The TSS is the transformational snapshot, just a snapshot of where you are, what you're doing, without judgment, just like, oh, okay, this is what it is. And it is a transformational snapshot. It's a moment in time that you're going to zoom in on and look at it in this way. What was the before moment? So before, your parents are now going through a divorce. The moment before is that you're a happy family, all is well, and mommy and daddy decide to break up. That's like, well, the moment before is all is well in the household. And the next one is the spark, the event, the realization, the the aha, the oh snap, what just happened, is the moment right after. So establish the moment before that transformational, like, oh, what have we here? And again, it could be yummy or it could be yucky. And I'm going to give you a yummy story in just a moment and demonstrate this for you. So what was the spark? What was the event? What was the realization? The moment that changed everything, or the realization, the aha, the oh snap. Establish the before, establish that moment of like, and things were different, or things were never the same, or things were illuminated in some sort of way. And then the third piece of the framework is the shine, the lesson, the message, the transformation that you now share, that you now understand, the wisdom that you now carry because of this moment. And I truly believe that gratitude for our stories is a good place to start. If you just start with, I'm about to dig into some stuff that I'm about to go look, I'm about to shine a light in some stuff in the corner over there that was not pleasant, but to have gratitude for it, because this is part of your life, and this can be part of the message that you now share with others because it helped to shape you. Oh, by the way, I don't know, EJ, did we put the workbook in the chat? I have a workbook for you. It's just sort of a visual of all of this, and you can print it out, or just, use it as I should say, as a something to spark you writing in your notebook, because I don't even think I put space on it to write, but we could just pop this in the chat, and you'll get access to these slides because you'll see the replay too. Okay, so shift, spark, shine. So I'm going to tell a yummy story that was requested of me this week. I was working on something and someone reminded me to tell this story, and I thought, I'm going to tell the story on Saturday because I haven't told it in a while. And it was about the day I met Idris Elba. And yes, I have photos. So that right there, this is Idris Elba. I'm going to tell you a mini story, and I'm going to go back and fix this slide. It's not it's a mini story using the shift, spark, shine model, and how will you apply this to your story? So here's the story. The moment before is I was called to host the National Association of Black-owned Broadcasters. I was going to host this event in DC. They have it every year. And I found out, as the host, I always like to know who my honorees are so I can get to know them. So people give you the bios to read, but I almost always zhuzh up the bio and really learn something about them so that I can introduce them well and make sure they feel honored. And I found out that Idris Elba was going to be honored that year. Now, this is before he has blown all the way up. This is right around the time of The Wire, right around the time that we are, as Americans, are finding out that he doesn't even sound like that. He's actually British. But I knew that because I had done my extensive research. By the way, research is also, it could be called stalking. I prefer the term research. And I would prefer that you do not judge me on my research. I had done my extensive research on Mr. Elba. Handsome, charming, talented, and about to be at this event that I'm hosting. I'd also done some other extensive research to find out that he's British, right? He's born and bred in England, but his parents are African. One parent, I believe, is from Gambia and the other is from Ghana. I had just done a DNA test. There's a test called African ancestry, and I'd done the DNA test, and I found out that on my father's side, I am from Ghana. So now, with this information, Idris's people are from Ghana and my people are from Ghana. I was like, that's my opening conversation. Because all women walk up to him and go, oh my God, Idris, you're so fine. Hi, how are you? I love your work. I'm not going to mac him like all the other women mac him. I'm going to mac him all the way back to Africa. Feel me? I'm thinking this through. I'm not stalking. This is research. And so I'm backstage there with him. And if you look at his body language, he is really listening to me. And I'm appreciating. Idris, hi, how are you? My name is Kim Coles, and I'm the host of this event. And he says to me, what? Shut up. I know who you are. You're Kim Coles. You're wicked funny, man. I watched that show, Living Singles. I'm like, oh my God, he knows who I am. This is great. I'm already on the inside. Right? Now, it's also important to note that, I think Americans, we think that all English accents are very, very posh and let's have some high tea. Wouldn't you like some tea and crumpets, darling? No, he is like a brother from the hood. He's like, what up? I know you. You're that funny, wicked girl from the telly. Yeah, man. I'm like, oh, I'm learning something. This is wonderful. Hi. But I've already prepared to have a conversation with him and reveal to him what I now know as a way of connection. I'm going to get in there. Like I said, everybody else is like, oh my God, hi, you're just going to have a picture with you. I'm macking him. And so I said, it's so nice to meet you. Oh, I can't believe you know who I am. This is awesome. I want to tell you something that I just found out that you're from Ghana, right? He says, right, my mother or his father or however they say it, And I said, well, I just found out that I too am from Ghana. I am your countrywoman. I actually use the word countrywoman. Who says that? And he looks at me and he goes, no, shut up. I can't believe it. You're from Ghana. Come here, cousin. And he grabs me in this big hug, cousin. And I'm thinking, this is not how I wanted it to go. But I don't know, kissing cousins? I'll take whatever I can get. You're Idris Elba, sir. And so he's hugging me and people are backstage like going, oh, what's happening here? I'll take it. A hug? Cousin? Oh, okay. And so I want you to see that later on this evening, by the way, my boyfriend who was with me at the event took this picture because he knew, he knew. And so I have a picture with Idris Elba at the dinner table after the event is over, and there he is, my cousin. Now, what's really cool about this story is it sounds like it's a story about, meeting a celebrity and, maybe trying to mac him if I could, and discovering a completely different, first of all, he's charming, he was sweet, he was like, he's, playing with me like, you're from Ghana, that means you're my cousin. I have now run into this man 4 times. And guess who he runs and hugs? Well, not run. Or guess when I'm in space with him, he's like, cousin. And other women in the room are like, how is Kim Coles hugging Idris Elba? Because he's my cousin. I'll take it any way I can get it. And it's plenty. And it's just enough because we weren't destined to be together or anything. This is what was destined to happen. Now, I'm sharing this story not because I'm bragging that I got to meet the great Idris Elba. And of course, he's married now and blah, blah, blah. And there's other things I found out. Like I found out he likes him kind of thick. I was like, well, I'm thick. I could be Mrs. Elba. And that's not what it was meant to be. The story here, the shift is I'm going to meet this man and I'm going to, oh my goodness, he's just going to be smitten and anything can happen. He's Idris Elba. I planned this whole thing. The next moment is this moment of like, oh my goodness, there I am. And I'm nervous. And I'm from Ghana. I'm your countrywoman. This is because I'm thinking, oh, we should be together because we're both from Ghana. What? I'm looking for my way in. And he flips the scripts and goes, all right, you're my cousin. And every time I run into him now, I have that connection with him. And so this could very well be a story of, let me just switch here. This could very well be a story of how we have in our minds how something should go and how something can go and how something is supposed to be a particular way. And the truth of the matter is that it goes a completely other way and you get something different. I would actually rather have this with him because I met the man of my dreams. I didn't need Idris Elba. I got Dr. Jaye Johnson. I got this brother as an occasional cousin. If I ever run into him, I don't even know if he would even remember this happened because this was, in the late 2000s. I don't know if he even remembers that was his connection that he made to go like, come here, come get this hug. Like, I'll take it. And so this would be a story of having a plan in place and life takes a turn. And by the way, my friends have been jealous of me because I do get this hug. Like, okay, I'll take it. And so this is a yummy story of shifting my mindset, shifting and being open to, I would say, how the world gives you what you're supposed to have. How the universe, God was like, no, he won't be your man, but he's going to be your cousin. And he's going to be charming and you're going to get to witness how kind he is, because that was a kind thing for him to do. To say, you're from Ghana, you're not, but come on, be my cousin. And so do you have stories like this? Maybe not including your new favorite cousin, Idris Elba, but maybe a story of how you thought something was going to go, it went completely differently, and it turned out even better because life is, your life is the way it should be. And so I want you to think about how your story reveals a purpose and a message. By the way, I have discovered now that any stories that I tell about my encounters with famous people, almost always what's at the core of the message is my need to belong. Even though he knew who I was there to prove myself to him. My need for permission. Some of you have heard my Oprah story. I already had the job, and yet I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I wasn't worthy. I've even told my story about meeting Whoopi Goldberg and how I just fritzed completely out, even though we were being introduced to each other by our orthodontist. That's as pure as it gets. It wasn't a Hollywood moment at all, but I freaked out because I was meeting one of my idols. And what does it say about me in those moments that I didn't feel as if I was worthy or ready or whatever it means? And so that's a core message that I can deliver in anything that I talk about, is about really owning yourself and owning your authenticity and owning that you do belong in all the spaces, even though it sounds like it's a Hollywood story. Does that make any sense? And so what about your core message? What about your story reveals your purpose and your message? What is the reoccurring lesson in your journey? This is a reoccurring lesson for me, that do I really belong here? And by the way, I've had the great joy of being in the position of people meeting me and acting that way. And I'm like, oh, I see what this is like now. So my job is to be really gracious when somebody walks up and they start, crying or whatever. It's like, because I've witnessed other people do that to me, and be gracious. Right. And for you, again, what belief do you want to activate in your audience? Which is the question I asked early. Do you want people to believe that they belong no matter what spaces they are in? They absolutely belong. They don't have to prove themselves or stalk or do research to meet or to be anywhere that they belong. So that would be an example of a core message. And so be thinking about this. And over the course of this month, we're going to delve into this even more. If you don't have the answers right now, if you can't think of a story right now, I can help you find those stories that keep coming back to those core messages that you want to deliver to your soulmate clients. Okay. Cousin. All right, let's talk about creating a signature statement, an elevator pitch, what I also like to call the lift off, lift up power statement. Let me just, I need to just stop and take a quick sip and a quick cough. So give me just a moment. All right, let me just check the chat and see how everybody's doing. You have a simple story about Jason Momoa. Yeah, cousin. Well, we're all cousins in the end, right? We're all cousins in the end. Cousin and a hug. Okay. Sorry, EJ. EJ knows the story. And like I said, my boyfriend that I was dating was in the audience, and he was like, I know you want a picture with him. Here you go. Click, click. Okay. So let me talk to you a little bit about this experience of an elevator pitch, or I like to call it a lift off, lift up statement. And again, like I said, this week, we're going to delve more into our stories, but I'd like you to be thinking about how you can share who you are and what you do in an instant, or in a short statement. So you maybe by show of hands, how many of you have heard of the phrase an elevator pitch, right? It's often used in business, and how we, well, the theory behind it is that what could you tell someone about you that would be interesting and impactful and educational, or, maybe not educational, but at least illuminating about you in the space and time that it would take to ride an elevator. Now, I like to give the beginnings of story of how things began. And I found two stories I want to share with you about the elevator pitch itself. So there's one story around the term, the elevator pitch becoming what it is, based on a fashion magazine. I don't remember if it was Vogue or not, but a fashion magazine back in the 50s. And there was an editor, as you know, the editor of a magazine is very, very busy and, doesn't have much time. It was either a magazine or a fashion house. And the way that her assistants could pitch ideas or get information to her was like, she's walking, grab her, get on the elevator with her, and share this idea. Hey, here's the fall lineup that I just want to show you this really quickly. I thank you. Meet me in my office later on. Like, she just was so on the go that the only way the assistants could grab time with her is like, she's on the move. She's taking the elevator up to the 5th floor. Let's go. And so that's one story of how the elevator pitch came to be, that you got 30 seconds, you got 8 seconds to share with me what you got. You've also heard these stories of, influential people, having an opportunity to ride an elevator or be in space for just a moment with an influential person. And what do you share with them so they can know who you are and want to spend more time with you? For me, my elevator pitch was, I'm from Ghana, I'm your countrywoman. It worked. To some degree, it did. The other story that I think is really cool, and it's really meta about the elevator pitch, is that there was actually an elevator pitch about the elevator. So the gentleman who who was the inventor of the elevator, I forget his last name, his first name was Elisha, forget his last name, Otis Elijah Otis. Hello, Otis Elevator. And prior to this particular moment in like 1853, elevators were not really safe and people really didn't like them. There was no way, like if the cable broke, like they were still using ropes and, you know, things that could break. And if it broke, there was no way to break the fall. And people were either riding elevators and ending up injured if it fell, or people would use elevators to hoist, you know, building materials or goods and, you know, products up to an upper floor, but they weren't riding it on themselves. And he did a presentation, I want to say in 1854 in New York. It was a big sort of World's Fair kind of experience to demonstrate this new technology that he had created for his elevator, which was a way to stop it if it fell, and like a spring and a hydraulic system and whatever other things. And I find it interesting that he got P.T. Barnum to help him with his pitch. And if you remember P.T. Barnum, as in Barnum and Bailey Circus, P.T. Barnum was a showman. In fact, there was a movie a little while ago with Hugh Jackman, with his cute self, as P.T. Barnum. He was a showman. He could take an idea, you know, zhuzh it in a way that may not have been quite the truth, but it was exciting, and he made people want to sign up and do, you know, come and see his wonders of his circus and whatnot. And so he hired him to help him with the elevator pitch. And what they did was they built this elevator on stage, and Elisha got inside the elevator, and they had someone, you know, take it up to the top, and he had someone get a machete and cut the rope. They say that women fainted, you know, back in the 1850s, you were fainting because of the corsets anyway. Women were fainting, people, oh my God, because now you think this man is going to fall to his death. And instead, they had installed the spring or the hydraulics or whatever it was. And right on stage, he was saved. You know, his elevator fell, it fell into the spring or the hydraulics and it saved. And he was like, all safe, folks, all safe. That year, he had only sold, up until that moment, had only sold 2 or 3 elevators. And from that moment, his sales went through the roof because now it was safe. Now there was a system. And so there was actually a story about the elevator pitch becoming the elevator pitch. And it took only a few seconds for people to now be convinced that it was safe. And now this, you know, elevators were used to build all the tallest buildings and all the tallest structures after that moment. And so that's why the elevator pitch is a big deal, and being able to craft your statement in a way that is fast and effective and impactful. So you have people going, oh my goodness, can I get your business card? Or, oh my goodness, what's the name of your website? Or, oh my goodness, can I learn more about that? And that's why I call this the lift off, lift up statement. So I'm going to put this in the chat, or I think EJ, do you have that handy if you're still with us? Working in the back, in the behind the scenes. I appreciate you. I want to share this with you, and I'm going to give you this document. It's actually on a Google Doc. Where are my notes? Is it there? Hold on, let me just find it again. Oh, here we go. I'm going to share this with you, and then we'll make sure you get a copy of this. There was a big long story to tell you that you can do this too. You can be like Elias Otis on stage and create a billion-dollar business. I mean, there are elevators who still have his name. How many of us have gotten into an elevator and the name Otis is there? That's the man who created it. And he needed to create a way that people could now know that this product was safe and that you could take a ride. I think we just put that in the chat. So you guys can get access to that. And I'll make sure you get it inside the group as well. So everything is here for you. And I won't talk you through this whole thing, so you'll get to see, but it is a short summary that tells about you or your company in a quick, concise, and compelling way. You equip yourself with an introduction by sharing with a potential client who you are, how you can contribute, and the transformation you offer, right? And we'll get more into this. By the way, your elevator speech, or as I like to call it, your lift off, lift up power statement can shift. And I actually have a couple of them that I use depending on who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. And they can be revised over and over and over again. So there's some best practices. You don't go, hi, my name is Kim Coles. I'm an actress, comedian, author, speaker, and coach, although sometimes I do that. And I like to help people to tell their story and to help them get on stages. And then I help them to write books. And when they write their books become bestsellers. And then they, like, it's like, okay, Kim Coles, you're boring me. But there's a way to say that in a much shorter way. And there's a way to share what you do. So here's some best practices for you. And maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll take one of the sessions and really dive into this fully so I can workshop this with you. But you're going to write it down. You'll keep it brief. I'm going to give you an actual template in just a second, which you'll see. You'll see all this. So the template is, I help X get Y. That's the simplest one that you can do. And here's a version of mine, a couple of examples of mine. I help speakers, coaches, and visionary leaders clarify their message and craft signature stories so they can captivate audiences, attract dream clients, and elevate their income and influence. That was probably less than 10 seconds. And that's something I could say in an elevator very quickly if I ran into somebody who says, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I don't know how to really handle getting my brand out there. Well, hi, I'm Kim, and I help speakers, authors, and coaches clarify their message and their signature stories so you can captivate your audience, attract your dream clients, and elevate your income and influence. Can we set up a call, right? Here's another version. I help visionary women turn their mess into their message, their story into their spotlight, and their gifts into gold. So they can, and I could end there and you'd go like, oh, how do you do that? Well, I want you to be able to shine bright, serve big, and leave a legacy that sparkles. That would be enough for someone to go, oh, can I get some of that? Well, that would be the hope. Or I'm so glad that you found out that you know how to do that. Can you show me how to do that too? All right, so I don't want to spend too much time going through what mine are, but here are the questions that will help you craft it. You're going to work on this on your own. And what we'll do is we'll do a session where we can really dive into this, because I've sort of danced around this and I realized we need to actually do a full session on getting this really locked in for you. Who is your person? Who is the intended audience? How do they refer to themselves, right? I've begun using the term visionary women or visionary speakers because I want someone who is not just cookie cutter. Like if you just want to do it like everybody else, then I probably won't be the right coach for you, because I'm going to push you to be authentically you. And I mean, and boldly you, like to dial up all of your allness. Dial up all of your allness, right? Because if you're somebody who just wants to, stay in a box, then maybe the word visionary would not be something you would use. And I want to speak to somebody who identifies as, I've got big dreams, right? What are the top benefits of your business? What exactly do you do for your clients? So just take this form, hold on to it, and begin thinking about some of these things. And I promise you, we'll do a session on just this, right? And there's some more stuff here for you. Here's some other templates. And this is what my template more looks like. Here's who I help and support so they can have this way of being. There's also some other templates that's really nice if you just want to get straight to it. I help aspiring authors finish their books. The genius of this is I don't just help aspiring authors finish their books. I actually help them write their books. But if I tell you that I help you finish your book, you're going to lean in because you go, I've already begun writing and I don't know what to do next. Oh, here's an outline for you, Maddie. Here's an outline for so-and-so to help you go to the next level. I help you finish your book. Maybe you help entrepreneurs fund their dreams. Well, what do entrepreneurs need? They need money. They need to, be able to have the resources to keep going. This particular person, this 6-word method, I help entrepreneurs find the money to get their dreams out into the world. All right. So take this. I know I'm giving you lots and lots and lots, but take that. And we'll work on that separately too. All right, let me finish sharing my presentation with you. And if somebody wants to take a stab at this in the chat, you can, and I can actually talk you through it too. So I'll leave a couple of seconds for that to happen too. Oh, there's the formula. I had it on the slide for you. All right, this is a good time. How about we do some love seats? And I also have an affirmation for you. Let me just close this part out and just say, here's an affirmation that you can use. I'll make sure this goes into the group. You just really, step into powerfully knowing that your story is valuable, that your message is magnetic, and you are ready to share it boldly, and keep telling yourself that over and over and over again. I don't think we're going to have a problem in this group because you're already in action. But if you want that constant inspiration, you're ready to share it boldly. And I'm choosing boldly very intentionally. That boldly means in your way. So even if you're shy, you can still be bold in that you're stepping forward and taking action, right? Your message is magnetic. There are people who will be drawn to you just because you are who you are and because you're sharing this valuable story. So I'll stop sharing and let's see if we have any questions or comments, or somebody wants to take on trying on their lift up statement. I call it that instead of the elevator pitch. That's a bold move on my part, meaning most people refer to it as an elevator pitch. I was like, no, I want to call it something different. It's a lift up, lift off, because you're lifting up the person who's listening and you're lifting off in your business, right? That's what that statement is meant to do, is meant to lift. All right, Maddie, what you got? Question?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
I would say my elevator pitch, which I love that story you told, because I actually knew about the creator, but I never knew his true story. So like the full story. So I'm interested to go read it. So I guess like one of my elevator pitches would be, I am love and light, and I am here to show you how to operate in all your wealth in your life. Because a lot of people assume that wealth is value and money, but wealth is peace, joy, and happiness. And until you tap into those three, you're actually not a rich person. So I think that would be my elevator pitch.
Let me hear it again. Let me hear
I
it again.
I am love and light, and I am here to show you how to operate in all of your wealth. Wealth is not just valued in money, but it is in your peace, love, and joy. And until you operate in those, you are not a wealthy person.
Nice, nice.
So I wrote that down.
You wrote that down. All right. I would only massage it to go. So let me ask you this. Are you a coach? Are you a wealthy light coach? Are you, how? So the question I would ask you is, how do you help people discover that? Right?
Okay.
And so if you were to say, and I'm not saying that you have to call yourself a coach if that's not what you do, or, I create, products that help people open this up in their lives. So that's the only piece I would add to go, like, you sharing what you believe, but also sharing how you help people do that. And it could be through my coaching programs, through my brand or through my business. I love helping people discover what true wealth is. That is really beautiful. Like that would have somebody going like, oh, how I do that? Is that what wealth, like you've educated me? Is that what, I thought wealth was just the money. You mean peace and clarity, joy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question, because you said the word coach. I like to use the word auntie because that's what I get referred to as much. My nieces and nephews call me Tati, which is the Creole Haitian word for auntie. And then a lot of my children, as I call them, my adoptive kids in the community, they always call me the rich auntie and the auntie. So how could I use auntie could I use that instead of coach?
Sure. You
Okay.
could say something, and we can work on this and really workshop it, but and I probably need to see it written because I'm visual too.
Mhm.
So you could say, I'm gonna make this up. This may not be. I'm your favorite rich auntie, or I'm your I'm your the rich auntie brand, or the rich auntie experience helps you understand that true wealth involves, is about activating your joy, your wisdom, all the things you said. So something like
Mhm.
that. So starting out by going like, so we now, because we know what a rich auntie is, or we know what auntie vibes are, right? And if
Mhm.
you present that way already and people are calling you that already, like I think that's a great idea for you to infuse into your brand.
Okay.
Infuse into like owning it fully,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So think about a way to include that in the statement. Like I said, if you were to write it for me, so I'm going to say if you can go to school and write it, for everybody to see, and maybe do some versions of it, and then I can go in there and like massage it and love on it and all that. Because let's just call it what it is. Do you feel that that's the name of your brand?
I do like being tired. Well, my homeboy actually got me to start using the hashtag Tati Maddie, which is, and like I said, it's Creole for the auntie, Maddie the auntie. So instead of, because Tabitha Brown is everybody's auntie, I was like, well, I don't want to copy that.
No, no.
So mine will be, because I do speak French, I am Creole and have all these things about me. Why not just embrace who I am and be called Tati the Maddie, Maddie the auntie? And so that's going to be my hashtag, Tati to Maddie.
There with us, Maddie? Okay,
Yes.
it froze a little bit. Why not? If it froze, so you say you speak Crow, you speak French. Oh, there's some other good stuff right up and through there.
So I was saying that my hashtag brand would be Tati to Maddie. So, and then loosely translated, it is Maddie the auntie. So I
Nice.
feel like that would be good because, like I said, I don't have children,
Mhm.
but I have a whole slew of nieces and nephews. And every time I'm with my nephews, they be like, "That's my auntie." Like that. That's how they introduce me. Is that's my auntie, not yours. And then their friends will be like, "Oh, that's Auntie Maddie," and they'll be like, "No, that's my auntie. She's not your auntie." So
I love that you're being owned by them and embraced by them, and that you own it and love it. So let's play with that a little bit. I really like that, and that's you still yours is very, very unique. I haven't heard somebody, really pulling in the cultural, the Creole and maybe we could put some French words up in there because we as a culture love that culture. Like we want to know more about it. It's mysterious and sexy and all the things. So we can lean into that beautifully. And, I always think of people from that era, I would say, I feel like they know things that the rest of us don't know because there's so much rich culture. Like it's such a blend
yeah,
of so many things. So I love it. The culture itself is rich. So why wouldn't you be Auntie Matty? Am I saying that right? Okay,
Tati to Maddie.
play
Mhm.
with it. If you could put that in the chat, in the school, if you feel comfortable, put it in and we're going to look at it and love on it. Beautiful.
So
Thank
I do have another question because
you.
this is a question I've been toiling with though. I have anxiety when it comes to finances.
Mm.
Like, I love doing what I do. I hate when people put a monetary value to what I do because then it's like I don't know how to, I guess, ask for that, like, or to talk about that. So when you're talking about how do we make this into a concept that monetizes, I'm with you up until you say monetize, and then I shut down because I'm just like, oh my God, I hate talking about money. Like, it's not about, for me, it's not about the money. And I had a friend tell me this one time before, and he was like, "You're always going to be rich and successful because you like to work without looking at what it is going to pay you or cost you."
Mhm.
And I was like, "That's true." Because for me, if I get to meet one person that says I changed their life, that's more than $1 billion can ever do for me. You know what I'm saying? And I have seen that over the course of what I've been doing thus far in the past 40 years. God has truly taken care of me. So I'm not worried about that, but how can I get past that?
You know what? I think we should do a session on that. Um, I think we should do a session on that. And I'm actually going to ask someone who's here to share. So my EJ teaches classes on that, being
Okay.
a money magnet, and that whole conversation. He's really, really good at that, and actually he's taught classes on it and has a podcast on it and a bunch of things. And so I'm going to pull him in on that if you would. And what I'm going to say to you is that's a thing with me too. And I've shifted over the years and still shifting, right? You've got, the extreme of people who are like, give me all the money, give me all the money. But I think that God, universe, the goddess, source, Spirit has given us these gifts so that we can be resourced to be able to give these gifts. And the way we, in the society we live in, the resource that makes things move, one of the resources that makes things move is money. And you need the money in order to be able to live and, you know, pay your rent and be able to buy a little blush and be able to, you know, give to your nieces and nephews, both adopted and all the things, right? And so if you think about it as if the money is coming through you, just as your gift has come through you. So you're actually giving your gift away in your generosity and your kindness and the way you teach and the way you love on people. And just think of the money as the gift that will help you further that, you know, be able to go further, because we, in the society we live in, we need the money in order to live. And this is not about, you know, fancy jets and red bottom shoes and all that. And those are fine too, if you want them, is outward expressions of what we think is wealth. But I know that, you know, that the wealth is on the inside. And so what if you're just receiving what you need so that your message can go further? You're receiving what you need so that your business can grow, so that you can touch more hearts and souls. And I know when I began to think of it that way, it helped. And like, you know, in my case, as an actor, I'm very clear that I deserve to be paid to be on this set every day. I want my check. I have my agents, they negotiate the fee. I'm very clear about what the fee should be, and, you know, commensurate with what other people of my level are making or whatever. But when it came to being an entrepreneur, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to try. I don't know how to tell. I don't know how to, it feels like I'm asking for something. And you're not asking. It feels like you're asking, but you're not really asking. You're just moving the money through you and through your business so that you can be resourced, so that you can sell more. So I'm going to arrange for a class, either I will teach, or EJ. Oh, there it is, EJ. I was talking until he would say it. I will teach the I'm a Money Magnet course for the community next Saturday at 9 a.m. Ask and ye shall receive.
Thank you, EJ. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be there for that one.
Yeah, and it's spiritual principles. And I think because in our society, money has, you know, we're doing money wrong. It's just really a resource. And so, EJ, thank you for that. Next Saturday, the I'm a Money Magnet course. You got it. Okay, good. I want you to have that. Yay! Thanks, EJ. Ding.
I'm not gonna take up much more of your time because I know other people.
No. See, and look at your generosity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Appreciate you, EJ. And then we have, I believe we have Crystal. And then I want to just, there's something, here's mine. Let me just read Sandra's statement. Well, Crystal, since you're on camera, let me talk to you. And Sandra, I'm going to come and love on your statement there. Hello, Kiki, and hello, Mama Mermaid.
Who's that?
Hi, beautiful. I'm your Auntie Kim.
She's been saying your name. That's why I was like, I just want to say hi real quick. I know we need to wrap up soon.
Hi, sweetheart.
We've got our elevator pitches. We're working on them.
Yeah.
But Kiki, who's that? Who is that? Auntie Kim. Auntie Kim.
I am your Auntie Kim, sweetheart.
Thank you for reminding me of the yummy stories. Right now we're in the middle of a yucky story. So we're trying to figure out, but it's a part of a good story. It's, you know, the resilience that we overcome and how we can get there and still keep believing and have the faith. Have the faith. So, but I just wanted to say thank you for the yummy story, because I got a yummy story about Jason Momoa too, but he's a cousin. He's cousin.
He's cousin. Here's my thinking too. If I get to keep him as a cousin, I get to keep him for forever. If something else had happened, it may or may not have lasted, but cousins last forever. Cousin. You're my cousin too, Miss Mermaid. You're my sister. Thank you for that. Thank you. I wanted to just go back and look at Sandra, who may not be able to come on camera, but she said, here's my, I walk along caregivers and families on their Alzheimer's journey, providing compassionate support and essential resources to help them find the care their loved ones deserve. That's great, Sandra. So here's what's beautiful about that. It tells me exactly who you are and what you do. And what I would say to you too is I would even clarify a little bit what walking alongside the caregivers means, right?
Okay.
So I would even say, you know, I offer invaluable resources. I provide compassionate support and essential resources to help caregivers and families on their Alzheimer's journey, period. And then I would then, and if I wanted to extend it so that their loved ones can have the care that they deserve. So I would lead with how you walk. The way you walk them is you give them essential resources and compassionate resources. But this is great. How are you today, Miss Sandra?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Good, good.
Little behind, but I'm getting there.
Oh, I hear you. I'm going to offer everybody that there is no behind. You are exactly where you need to be. And I'm telling myself that at the same time, I'm telling you, what if you are exactly where you need to be?
True.
How can I support you?
So I have a question about, I'm working on this, what do you call it? Rack card for the conference because I don't have business cards or anything like that. So I said, well, one of the guys that I volunteered with here at the local Alzheimer's Association, he said, maybe you should put together a rack card so you can leave behind something for people if they want to reach out to you. So I've been working on that. But after hearing today's session, I'm like, ooh, I need to adjust my messaging so that it's not something they look at and go, trash. They look at it and say, wow, okay, I need to keep this. So.
Well, let me ask you this. What's a rack card? I want to make sure I understand what that is.
You know how you see, if you take a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, trifold it, it's one of those panels. And you know how you see the little clear plastic holders on tables and
Yes.
they have those
Okay.
doctor's offices, they have them.
Got it.
That's what it is.
Well, let me ask you this. So I think it's great that you want to have something to leave behind for folks. I think we talked on our session because Sandra had taken a one-on-one session with me, which by the way, I absolutely recommend, and that's still available. You just click somewhere on the school page. There's a place where you can book a one-on-one session with me. And then I do a follow-up with a 6-month activation plan and all the things. But one of the things that we talked about was you having a lead magnet of some kind, a resource that you can give away, something that will have someone come back to you. Because here's the thing, when you go to these conferences, people are picking up lots of cards and, you know, trifold rack things and, you know, 8.5 bits of paper, and they stick them in their bag and don't unpack them until later. But I think if you had a little QR code on your thing, on your card, and people could then download a checklist. And I think we talked about this, right? Like a, you know, caregiver's checklist, or how to take care of yourself while you take care of your loved ones. So something like that, where you're giving people something free, giving something away in order to invite them to stay in your world.
Right. Okay.
Right. And that would then need to be attached to a, you know, an email, you know, where you send them emails after they get it, like, hey, congratulations, thank you for wanting to download my 10-step checklist or whatever it is you create. And then they get to be on your email list so that when you are starting your nonprofit or when you're moving into the next level of whatever, they're already in your world.
So is that what you're saying? Would that be on a small business card type, like the QR code?
You could do that on a card. Oh, I wish I could. Okay, if you hold on for just a second, I'm going to give you a demonstration. So I'm going to put you on hold. I'm just going to walk across the room to get something. So hang on just a second. Forgive me, but it's going to be worth it. Hold, please. Okay. I literally had to walk across the room. Let me show you what I mean. This will also potentially save you money if you're interested. This is a simple way to do it. Okay. So when I go to speak, I have these cards. So I guess you could call this like kind of like a rack card, but I just put them on the table, right? So let's say on one side, I go, hey, transform your stories into captivating narratives that connect, engage, and inspire. And I'm going to give you this captivating story igniter workbook. People will click on this and it automatically opens up to the workbook, and then they're on my email list. That's on one side. On the other side of mine, I happen to have another one. You want to book me to speak? So I've just gotten off stage. Hopefully people enjoyed enjoyed the thing. And on the other side, I happen to have another QR code if you want to learn how to book me. So this is less expensive than one of those trifold things because they're beautiful. But if you could decide that you want to do that. I mean, they're beautiful because you're gonna have someone lay it out for you, I guess, a graphic designer, and share all of your, all the ways that you serve people. But I think when we give something away and get people onto our email list, then they become we put them in our world, and they can then potentially become clients or customers or want to know more about the way you work with them. I think we're getting past the place where, rack cards are the most effective way of getting people to sign up to work with us or want to know more. Like, I think they become beautiful visual takeaways, but the truth is you want a takeaway that will lead people to come back to you. So even if you did the trifold thingy and then gave away something for free to keep them in your world. Does that make sense? And EJ wrote something in the chat that says, that gives the ability to connect with them beyond just that initial connection. That's not, I'm not saying that very clearly, but that's what it is. It's about, you want people to know who you are, but what you really want is for them to connect with you further. So when is your event?
There you go. I was just typing. It's April 10th through 12th.
Okay.
Is that business card size? I would rather have something like that. And what I was talking about, it was only going to be like one panel, like front and back, but I'd rather have something smaller.
Postcard.
And then I also have I'm tired of this song, but I did find, can I grab something real quick? I want to show you something.
While she's going to grab something, I'll tell you all this. So this is, I get these printed up at FedEx. FedEx, yeah, FedEx. Remember it was FedEx Kinko's? These are 3x5 cards. You can also do them in 4x6. You put a lovely picture of yourself on it, and then okay, EJ said, if you come to the tech coaching on Tuesday, he can help you design it.
Okay, so I ordered these fans because they have the Alzheimer's ribbon, and one of my friends, she said she would help me put like the website name. I didn't think I had enough time to get them tailored. You know that song, Where Them Fans At? That country song. But I was like, this is popular. They'll have teenagers there as well. And then I ordered these little ducks because, people with Jeeps, they put those on their truck if there's a Jeep they like, to show kindness. So, and then I was going to have those little cards in addition to my books.
Okay.
Start small because this is my first conference.
Your first conference. So I'm not sure I understand the Jeep ducky thing. What's that about?
So it just has the Alzheimer's ribbon on it, but people who have Jeeps, they will leave a duck on the Jeep if it's one they like, to show kindness. And since Alzheimer's, compassion, and then it has the ribbon.
So you would just give that away to people who come to your table?
Right, I would just have them out. If people say, "Can I take one?" Yeah, kind of rational.
But so that's a lovely gift to have at your table, and we want people we want you to have something to give away that has an impact that either educates, informs, or, entertains. So the little ducky is cute, but once someone takes the ducky and goes, I don't know anything else about you. We have the Alzheimer, the little ribbon, but it doesn't lead me back to you as someone who could teach me on how to better take care of my elderly aunt or whatever it is. And so I think if the Tuesday session with EJ, he'll help you design something, help all of you design something. You should have these resources in your world. And this is what we're talking about when you say, well, this costs money. It doesn't cost a lot, but it costs money. You want to be earning, getting the resources in so that you can have the products available to you. Now, this costs me more than anybody else because I wait to the last minute to do these. But if you design this in Canva and get these printed up and have these with you when you speak, or have these with you in your, in your experience, you can say, oh, here's some information and you can download my free such and such. Then that now puts people in your world.
Yeah.
So thank you.
That was the whole idea behind the rack card, to have info. Yeah. And then those are just, you have a couple out and people say, oh, can I have one?
Right.
So yeah. Okay.
Now, does the little ducky have your website on it? Does the fan have your website on it?
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the website name on there because I didn't think I had enough time to get it customized, so I didn't want to run the risk of not having it.
Are you gonna put like a little sticker on it or something?
Yeah, it's got a little sticker with the website.
Okay, cool. And because you are someone who in your statement, you said, hold on, I'm gonna read your statement again. You said
accountability.
Offer people compassionate support and essential resources. I would say to you to create something that is an essential resource. So the ducky is cute, the fan is nice, it's essential if you're in menopause for sure.
Yeah.
And create an essential resource that people will now sign up to receive from you. And like EJ said, if you come to the session on Tuesday, he's going to help you design it. And by the way, this works for all of you, whatever your message is, whatever your mission is, whatever it is, the way that you help people, whether it's helping people with their chakras, helping people with, building their nonprofit, helping people with Alzheimer's, whatever it is, create an essential resource. My captivating story igniters is an essential resource if you want to know how to start telling your story. By the way, I'll make sure that's in the group if it isn't there already, right? So think of some, like we talked about this, Miss Sandra, like things you need to know. 10 things now that you've been a caregiver twice. So hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
See you on Tuesday. I might be at work, but EJ will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You want to educate, inform, and connect. Thank you, EJ, for that. There you go. All right, everybody, I will give you back the rest of your Saturday. This recording will be in the group, of course. I will come back, so for anyone who popped in late, we're going to be doing these monthly challenges. I'm excited because I'm going to take on one theme per month. And then every Monday, you're going to see a prompt in the group and an activation and an action that you can take in order to activate that particular theme for the month. And then you come on Tuesday and ask EJ about your tech stuff. He can help you design that. And then we'll still have our high teas, and I'll give you the dates on those depending on my work schedule, and they'll be there to answer questions and really activate. And again, like I said, celebrate. We're here to celebrate what you're already doing. So thank you all. Have the rest of your Saturday, the rest of your weekend. It's a delight to be in space with all of you. Thank you so much.